think. And so that first question is kind of how can we conceptually distinguish between probate and non-probate assets?
Yeah, so right off of the bat, there isn't just a general definition. I mean, if you really want to break it down, an asset that has to go through probate's a probate asset. But nonetheless, it doesn't qualify just because you have a house, it's a probate asset. Where it really comes down to the distinction is going to be how the asset is titled, and how it's owned, and if there's a beneficiary designation. So if a decedent passes away and that specific asset, here let's talk about a bank account, if that bank account is solely in the decedent's name, nobody else is on the account, there's no beneficiary, depending on the value of that account, we're looking at probate. However, on the other hand, if you have somebody with a beneficiary designation for their bank account, it's potentially a not probate asset. So that's just an example of how dependent on that ownership titling or beneficiary designation is what qualifies those probate and not probate assets. Probate's more of a vehicle used to allow or to verify who has the authority to handle a decedent's assets, right? Because if you pass away with nobody other than the decedent, how is a bank to know, okay, yep, Alex can handle this account? If you just show up, you could be anybody's brother, mother, or son, cousin, anybody could try to say that. And of course, you're going to be entitled if you show up to the bank account or to the bank to ask for that account. So it's more about using the probate court when there is that discrepancy of, okay, this asset only has the deceased person's name on it. Who's supposed to do what with it? Probate's used to say, okay, this person has the authority, and then these people are who inherits that estate, divided however that may look like per a specific estate again. But that's what we use the probate court for. So if you think about that concept, okay, if it's used for verification of how or who handles the estate and who gets the estate, how would we get into that situation? Well, when that particular asset doesn't have anybody listed or doesn't have a beneficiary, it's kind of when we're in limbo of an asset of yeah, is it annoying we have to go to court? Sure. But on the other hand, if it were you in that scenario, would you want the bank to hand out your bank account to Joe Schmo without any sort of verification? Now, if there's a beneficiary designation, the bank has their own process for what that verification look like. And that would be where you keep it out of probate is if your bank account had a person listed to inherit if you pass away, that person goes to the bank, they do what the bank needs them to do, and then they can get a check that way. So it really just the totality of distinguishing probate versus not probate is more of how is the asset titled? Is there a beneficiary? And where do we go from there?
All right, fantastic. I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time.